Hello, good morning. Oh, Judith's here, and Ben Report Cards is here as well. Oh, good. I caught some of the getting a bit earlier helps. That's good. Some people get to show up if I change the times. Good morning. If the light changes, it's because it's still a bit dark this morning, and I haven't got control with light blocking curtains, but we adapt, don't we? So, I hope everyone's doing well, and yeah. So for those who are just watching and haven't caught up from yesterday or the day, like the last few days, you'll notice a slight shift. I've had some time to think while I was moving, and I've decided to start really focusing more on the inoculation. Oh, okay. All right. So Judith is banned report cards. I had forgotten about that. I did know that. I just, when you're streaming, your brain fucking turns to mush. It's harder than it looks. But anyway, so what I thought, I've been thinking about where I was of value to people. And I think that what I want to do is not be balls deep in any one issue. As I've said, I'll be very quick. I'm not going to keep repeating the same things over and over again. But what I want to do is be part of the solution. I think the epiphany that I had was that I was not being authentic. Okay, that's not true. I was being authentic and truthful. I wasn't being dishonest, but I wasn't being offering value that was Taya. Okay, what I was trying to do was trying to be like everyone else, or trying to just, I was talking about stuff that, it's complicated. And unfortunately, when you get on this sort of divisive thing, the answer to most things, okay, is shit's complicated, and the answer's complicated, and science is complicated, and, there's a lot of power structures at play. And I figured stuff out, and I realized that eventually when I think once you brush up against power and start talking about things that the powerful don't want you to do. I joked about this. I'm thinking about fucking calling this, making a podcast literally called this, which is don't pick a fist fight with the sun, because you can't win it, okay? You can try to inoculate people against sort of propaganda, but you need to universalize it. And this is something that you learn from comedy, which is the way to change hearts and minds, or the way to get the most laughs, or the way to succeed the most, is to universalize an experience so that people relate to it, even if they don't relate to it. That's what a good joke is, but that's also what good content is, okay? And I don't want to be in the weeds. There's two choices with content, okay? You can either us and them, okay, build your little cult of fucking people and be part of the problem, or you can try to universalize the experience so that the content can be applied in day-to-day life, right? Or, the best jokes are ones that you're going through, you're navigating through life, and the joke just sort of jumps into your head because it's a universalized enough experience that joke has traction, okay? So it's the same thing. But also the thing is that my work I've sort of closed off, solved the problem. And it's like, well, what do you do? Much like the LGBT movement. When the fight's over, you either pivot and you either keep going and double down and rationalize, or you accept that maybe it's time to move on and it's time to just do something where you are of where there's a greater need or greater value, okay? Rather than turning into a fucking weapon. But I'll talk a little bit about that because I'm seeing it happen and people are just falling for it again. And this time I've seen it enough times that I can explain it, and I want to talk about our biases, okay? Now, you need to start, what I want to do, okay, I've been rambling a bit. Still, it's only 8 a.m. here and I'm sort of barely, I'm not really awake. What that thing, it's like, am I ever going to be organized? Nah. You know what's amazing? And as you get older, you realize that, self-acceptance is a good thing. But self-awareness is a good thing and all that. And it's like every single day with ADD, I'm like Dory. I start the day optimistic that things are going to go differently for me. It's like a reset. It's like having short-term memory loss. It's like, let's start today. Maybe today is the day where my tech works and I'm organized and I don't waffle and I don't spend 10 minutes fucking warming up on stream, getting to the point. It's like, maybe that is just me. And that's what I meant when I said being authentic and just not trying to fucking be what other people want me to be, but just be me, because I have value as I am, which is that I can spot propaganda. I can spot bullshit from a mile off. Okay, but I also have a lot of knowledge in the area of propaganda and persuasion. And I think that what I see is what I talked about yesterday, which is basically a playbook that's just rolled out over and over and over again that no one fucking admits to because they all use it. Okay, all political parties, all countries, all corporations, all marketers, all grifters, all fucking YouTubers. Again, yesterday I was talking about what people don't say being just as important. Okay, I watched one of my favorite fucking people and favorite funny people banging on about Marxism yesterday. American. And it's just, they just say these things like they're fact, okay? Like, oh, that's where Marxism inevitably leads. It's like, nah. Marxist analysis has been like at the backbone of fucking most Western social democracies outside of America forever. Canada was, well, Canada's probably not a good example. But, it's formed the basis of most of left-wing politics. It's a foundational text. It's like Marx to the left is like Adam Smith is to the fucking center right and Burke is to the right, okay? Seriously, like, it's foundational. It's like saying that Aristotle, and it's like the atom, you need to understand it. But Americans are just so fucking scrambled in the brains that they just state. Do you know what I love? Okay, let's just go on a distraction, okay? Do you know what I love most about America? And love to hate. It's always love to hate, and hate to love, that kind of thing, right? Is that because I struggle with confidence. And everything that I say, I struggle and I second guess myself. And, I've always just sort of internalized the fact that I'm not good enough or smart enough or do people want to hear what I want to say because I've got an Australian accent or because I'm a woman or, various other things. And it's just like, but Americans, they just fucking say it. And they say it like they mean it. And they just go, yep, that sounds about right. And they move on. I love that. And it's not a uniquely American thing, but it is very much like the Dunning-Kruger effect is something that is fucking pervasive across the board. Like, it is a human quality, but it's actively encouraged in America because that thing, if you dream it, you can be it. It's like, if you work hard, you can succeed in our free market. It's just like, you think that's true? It's cute, but I'm just saying, right? Judith's here, Judith's Canadian. We're just loving American. See, that's the thing. Okay, I'm going to go on another fucking tangent because I'm feeling funny today. Feeling cute, might delete later. Okay, but the old days of the internet. It's just like, I think, that thing with September 11th, all right? Well, I'm going to get bad now. But September 11th, 21 years ago from the anniversary of when we're withdrawing the troops from Afghanistan. Right? That long ago. Fuck. It was that long ago. It can't be 21 years because my daughter's 20 in September. That's wrong. It's 20 years. That's not correct. Anyway, whatever. It's 20 years since September 11th. Oh, good. We're going to get that. We're going to... Fuck off with Safe Moon. No. Oh, yes, it's you. Sorry. My apologies. My apologies to Osh, a.k.a. Dope Go Crazy, a.k.a. the person with 3 fucking phones who's more paranoid than anyone I've ever met. He's talking about Safe Moon. He wants me to he's using Safe Moon as an example of idiots. Yes! So they just say stuff. They're so fucking programmable. It's crazy. No critical thinking at all. Don't Go Crazy is American, but he's one of the good ones because he's been outside of the place. He's left it for a time. He understands how the rest of the world sees the fucking thing. But remember that episode? Actually, do you remember that? I keep going back to South Park, and I'll talk about propaganda later. Fucking South Park, man, they're so good. But remember the 9/11 episode where they fucking made fun of Osama bin Laden like he was a Looney Tunes character and stuff. And that episode of South Park where the boys went I can't remember, they went to Afghanistan or something. I can't remember, but basically they were like, America, we don't understand that, the world hates us. And I went through this with I know I've digressed off topic, but I'll talk about this another time. But it is related to the propaganda, okay, and how our biases are fucking exploited. And they have been on the internet exploited since the beginning. It's just that they're winning now, okay? We've seen all of this all there. But anyway, so September, I was on a mother's group, okay, of all places. I was pregnant with my daughter. She was about to be born, right? My daughter was born September 10th, 2001 at 11:55 p.m., right? If she'd been born 5 minutes later, she'd have been a September 11th baby, okay? So I was pregnant with my daughter. I was on the September 2001 Yahoo baby group. If you email list, right? If you Yahoo groups, if you remember those, okay? And fucking, there are a couple of Canadians, couple of English people, and a few, like, I was like the only Australian. It's fucking usual. Why are there no Australians talking? Do we just, is it just, we just go along with it? Why am I always the only Australian in the room? Okay. I'll talk about DOGE in a minute. But this is related, which is that America, like, lost their minds. And I got kicked off of that. So the long story short on that is that I was active on this group, okay? And basically I was on a fucking mothers group with American mothers who are already fucking crazy, okay? Already hormonal, bickering over fucking diaper white warmers and pram brands and like stuff that I didn't really see much with my first baby, but it really, like, because my kids are all 4 years apart, okay? So my daughter's 20, my son's 16 this year, and my youngest is 12. Okay, so sort of like that 4 year gap is quite significant between kids and the way that the internet culture shifted. So, but this was when I was pregnant with my daughter, and but then September 11th happened. She was born. Okay, so she was born. I was in hospital. I was in hospital for 7 days, possibly 10. I can't remember. It was too long ago. But it was complications, and I was quite sick. And she was fine, but I was quite sick. And because I had preeclampsia and stuff. But so I sort of watched September 11th unfold on those little hospital TVs, okay? And I was drugged to my fucking eyeballs, thought it was World War III, and just that was all I was exposed to was fucking CNN's trustworthy coverage of 9/11, okay? So that was my experience. But basically, I roll up a week later, reading the room like I always do, and I kind of went, and everyone, I like all these emails where they all fucking lost their minds, okay, over September 11th, and they were fucking at it. And I just went, like, why are you going? Because I was politics, I was about to graduate from uni, and I was in political science, didn't fucking know. I was young, thought I knew it all. I thought my analysis was needed. I thought my take was needed. And I kind of went, you know what, Americans, hey guys, calm down. You know what? I'm not sure that you're aware that the rest of the world doesn't like you very much. And that, this whole with us or against us thing is kind of off-putting. And remember the freedom fries? Because the French were opposed, was it? They were opposed to the war or something. It's something, they demonized the French. I can't remember this. This is what happens when I don't plan the content of my stream. I just have to refresh my memory, but again, this is not unrelated, okay? I'm just telling a funny fucking story, and we'll see if we get there, okay? But basically, I was like, okay, I thought that all you Americans were level-headed. I was naive. I think we know what my mistake was. In retrospect, I think we know. But I was young. I was as young as my daughter is now. All right? I was 21 years old when she was born, okay? Actually, 2001. September 2001. I'm 79. What's that? To quote Carl, it's either 9 or 5. I fucking don't know. Anyway, I was something like that. I was basically her age. Nobody should have a child at that age. Because then you think that Americans want an opinion on American geopolitics after they've been fucking had planes flown into the buildings. I've gotten better at reading the room. A little bit, not much. Turns out no one cares for my take. However informed it may be. Anyway, so basically there was like me and a Canadian woman called Kelly. And I often think about Kelly in Canada, in Vancouver. I wonder if we lost touch over the years. But she was fucking funny because she liked baiting the Americans too. That's why with Judith. That's why you reminded me, because I was thinking of Kelly, how she used to. I think she was married to a Canuck hockey player at the time, and she was the wife, and she was fucking goading the whole fucking time. But basically, you know, it was funny, so pissing off the Americans. But I'm not 100% sure if Kelly was a real person in retrospect, because she kind of had, like, didn't have her story straight. And, like, I'm wondering whether it was just one of those things where that was one of those early forms of entryism, and I'll get to that, where someone sort of just sits on the list and, like, pokes Americans and starts shit. Again, you sort of revisit your whole, whether your eyes and ears actually were working correctly. But I always thought there was something a bit off about that. Sort of that, because it was easier to catfish. You know, you couldn't really stalk people by social media. You could just say that you were this, and people just went, okay. Especially, you know, so anyway. So basically, yeah, so Americans, they just were collectively not getting that people don't like them. And collectively not understanding, okay, that the rest of the world tolerates America. Okay, this is the thing, is that people, that they've been sort of sold this narrative that, you know, and I'm sure there's a couple of Americans watching probably, but you've been sold this narrative your whole life that you are bringing freedom and democracy to the world needs you, and that, you know, you are the beacon of sort of freedom and truth and everything that is good in the world. That's propaganda, okay? The American people, Uncle Sam. That is all stuff that you've grown up with. And this is where it's interesting, because I push back against American domination of the internet. But the one thing that I think that one of the root causes, I think, for a lot of this woke weapon stuff, okay, a lot of this sort of, you know, real psyops that's going on, which is that they're trying to, it's again, in thought reform, it's milieu control, okay, milieu control and frame, and again, I use the frame, the terminology of choice architecture, which is to narrow the spectrum of choice but for people so that they make and can be nudged into the position that you want, okay, or make a decision that you want. I tweeted an example of that this morning. I'll show you, actually. I'm going to, you know, again, this is all related. I'm thinking of renaming this podcast, or whatever the fuck this is, the podcast version of this, as Don't Fist Fight the Sun, okay? Because there's no point, as I said, picking on actual power, okay? There's no point. There's no point going in. I use the very, like, you know, evocative phrase. It's quite funny. And I sat on it for a day, and it's still a funny mental image of the idea of that you could have a fist fight with the sun. Yeah, it turned to ash. Okay. There's no point. Okay. But you can sit on the moon, so to speak, and observe the sun. And you can also build solar panels, and you can build power, and the sun's useful. It gives you vitamin D. Okay. So there's things we can learn from the sun and use the sun to our advantage. Okay. So that's the metaphor I'm going to go with, which is that I'm not going to fucking, you know, like going right into where the trans money comes from. That's a fist fight with the sun. Okay. Going into fucking what's happening with DOGE, I'll hint at it, but it's like, no. What I will do is talk about the fuckery and propaganda and framing and nudging and all of the techniques that are used to exploit our biases, and because that's based in science. You can't call me a conspiracy theorist if I'm talking about fucking science. Okay? Well, you can. Look at Brett Weinstein. But, you know, they're also kind of a bit off the deep end because they're American. They think that China's fucking coming to take over America. It's funny. It's funny do you know what? It's funny to see, and this is the thing. This is why I'm going to talk about DOGE and bias. Okay, I've sort of mentioned this as well on Twitter this morning when I first woke up, which is that I love DOGE. I'm biased towards DOGE, and that means that I'm more ripe for fucking confirmation bias. Same thing with. See, this is the thing where GME is fucking fascinating as a subreddit. They're already throwing the Pepe frog at it, so I don't know how long it's going to last. Again, playbook. But they literally just go, I want confirmation bias, and they're aware. Learning, okay, not only as a feminist, but also just as a woman, as anybody, as working class, honestly, as Marx has been quoted as saying, I like the stock market. Okay, he played it. He played the stock, okay, market. And he said, I like the stock market because it ruins the free market. So I love it. But I've come to a view, okay, that you should learn about this stuff. Learn about the stock market, because that's where people show who they really fucking are. That's partially why I think I've been in business for 20 years, and I think because I haven't held a 9-to-5 job and I have been somewhat autonomous in thought, I've been able to just make a decision and go, nah, and fire a client if they fuck around, or people who rip me off and all those sorts of things. I sort of got, like I haven't been programmed into conformity as much. I sort of, at the edges. But so unfortunately this iMac is chuggy as fuck. So I need something to go to the moon so I can buy a fucking, new my work computer is more powerful, but it's a laptop, and this is an iMac and it's shit. So I need, okay, if that squeeze could happen, that would be very nice. Or if people want. Okay, so an iMac Pro is only what, 20 grand? 15 grand. Okay, so we're chugging a bit, but it's odd that Safari is chugging. Okay, where are we? I can't remember what I was going to show you. I forgot. Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, give me a sec. Let me just share. I appear to be chugging. Not come. I'm a bad feminist, aren't I? See, this is why I can't fucking be tribal, because if I just made a stupid joke about chugging cum, I'd piss off fucking 90% of the audience if I was on one side and fucking get empowered. Well, this is the thing about Apple, okay? Apple are about to kneecap Facebook. Okay, so Apple, with the new OS update, have do not track as a setting for every app. You can actually set it so that it doesn't track you. Now, obviously, Facebook are just going to get fucking cleverer about it, okay? And this is actually related. So, but this is a really good example of framing. So I'm going to show you, okay? You know what choice architecture. So narrowing the choices, okay? That's what I was talking about. I know I move at 1,000,000 miles a minute, but I do make some sense somewhere, which is here, okay? So this guy, so he's actually saying, right? So this is so now you can actually have, so this guy, Wall Street journalist. I'm not picking on any one individual. Again, there's nothing being targeted. I'm just saying everyone does it. Everyone has their biases. Everyone uses these techniques. And what's important is we just got to understand how these techniques are used to exploit weakness, okay? And I just thought this was a great example. So pro tip, if you own an iOS device, next week is likely to bring you the most significant improvement in digital privacy in the history of the internet. And it will kneecap Facebook. Now, this guy's from the Wall Street Journal. And I think a number of places. What is he from? Look. So this guy is obviously quite an anti-Facebook kind of guy, because he follows the real Facebook oversight board. So he's part of the crew. Okay, again, you got to understand this stuff. You got to understand the politics around Facebook and how there's a campaign to undermine Facebook. Rightly so. I'm not saying that they're not valid concerns, but again, it's Davos stuff, because they're all doing the same shit. It's Twitter fucking blaming Facebook for the same shit that Twitter does. And it's Apple blaming Facebook for shit that Apple does. And it's Google saying that Facebook does it, and America is going China does it. And it's like, they're all fucking doing it. They're all just fighting for our fucking hearts and minds all of the time and attention. And it's not, so when one person is accusing one fucking side of doing it, they're lying. And that's the focus of my stuff. Okay. So I'm not picking on this guy. Again, we're all fucking being nudged and moved and have incentives. This guy's probably paid to fucking, he probably believes that. Okay. Also, he probably, again, I believe that Apple is still better at privacy than other tech. Doesn't mean they're fucking not in bed with fucking the US intelligence. Okay. Just don't be naive. I said, what was it? I said it's like a heroin addict. They're still selling and pushing heroin, but they're just the heroin pushers that don't lace it with fucking arsenic. Okay, or lace it with Ajax. Okay, that's a web developer's joke right there. But I'm saying that when you see someone accusing, especially a corporation or corporate interests, okay, accusing another corporation of doing something, that means there's probably a stock market thing involved, and that's why you should learn about stock market, because you start to see the movements. All right. Even like when it comes to things like news about Tesla, like the unfortunate deaths that happen, do dig into facts about it. Look into facts. Okay. Read both sides, check stuff, see what's what, and also assume that someone wants something from you. And if someone's getting an emotional reaction out of you, that's usually a sign that there's some sort of confirmation bias going on, or fuckery to get you sort of in a state where you can be sort of persuaded or nudged in a certain direction. So I wanted to use this as an example, which was this poll, okay, where he said, where is it? By popular demand, right, Apple is expected to roll out iOS 14.5 tomorrow, which will restrict Facebook's ability to track you across other apps Facebook doesn't own. Why does this excite you? See this framing. Why does this excite you? Digital privacy, kneecapping Facebook, or both? See, there's a fourth option in this poll, which is that I'm not excited. See, that's what choice architecture does, and that's what nudging is, which is that it narrows your choice, okay, so that you admit that you're excited, rather than having a none of the above option, or a I'm not excited, or I think this is Apple fuckery, or, all of those sorts of things, okay? If this was a legitimate non-propaganda poll, again, I'm not saying people overtly propagandize. I think some people do, but I think that it's more about incentive than it is about intent. And some people are just more malleable and greedy than others. And again, that's another exploitation of people's base fucking impulses. And I'll talk about DOGE in a second. But, why does this excite you? That makes a presumption about your emotional state. I wasn't excited. I was skeptical. How about I'm skeptical about this? I don't trust this. This guy is apparently an internet freedom person. Again, it's nothing against him individually. I'm just, straw manning the whole thing. But I'm just saying this is an example, a really good example of framing. Okay, and how choice architecture works to narrow your options so that and this comes back to what I was saying about America. Okay, which is that they don't understand that their choices are so controlled and limited to the point where, like this woke culture wars keeps them distracted from the fact that the whole world is opened up to them, and that people like me, who are turning around to all these Americans that are going fucking Marx, 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 and they don't even know what it is. And if they do know what it is, it's only Communist Manifesto, which all of us know. Marx, anyone who knows anything about sort of outside of America about political theory, knows that the Communist Manifesto shouldn't be decontextualized within the broader body of work. He wrote that. There's context to that piece, but that's the only bit. It's the only bit that they fucking learn. Okay, so that's interesting. So, again, choice architecture. Oh, I'm a Marxist. Okay, so what Marx have you read? The Communist Manifesto. Okay. Cool story. See what I'm saying? Like, Marx has a body of work that builds, and Communist Manifesto was more rhetorical, kind of like, The Simpsons, where they joke about Picasso's angry jerk phase. Communist Manifesto is very much Marx's angry jerk phase, right? It's when he kind of got, again, it was a bit more rhetorical than the rest of his work. His other work was, you've got to contextualize these things. But America is very good at stripping everything of its fucking actual nutrition and of anything of substance, packaging it up and turning it into a fucking, junk food. Okay, and they've done the same thing with Marx. But I'm just saying, so that's choice architecture at play, where they go, phew, okay, well, Marx is Communist Manifesto. That was what fucking was misinterpreted by Marxist Leninists, okay, and Stalin. And let's just focus on the ills of communism and Communist Manifesto, because also communism in China is not what Marx fucking. It's like it's not even Marx's vision of communism. Okay, so Americans just, again, full circle, confidently, with confidence, just make a statement. Again, it's cultural. They're just raised to just speak and be the loudest, most confident voice in the room. And if they're even if they're wrong, they got to double down. Okay, that's just America. Again, that's why everyone in the culture wars doesn't talk to Taya, because Taya shatters their fucking worldview. But this happened with 9/11, which was I got in fucking trouble on the mummy group. I've been getting in trouble where I went, you know what? Maybe France has a point. Maybe we don't like you. And I'm surprised that you're surprised that this happened. Let me educate you on the history of your country and activity overseas. Americans really don't like hearing about the country's activities overseas. Okay. Jane Claire Jones wrote a fucking cracking thread. I retweeted it last night about this, which is that this woke bullshit is American bullshit. Okay. This American definition of colonialism, this American fucking definition of like race, of history of race. Intersectionality is a criticism of fucking race intersecting with fucking second wave feminism. Okay, and that second wave feminists, again, an American term. The UK have a more materialist analysis and they're called radical feminists. Second wave is a second wave that happened in America. It's not America making everything fucking global. Okay, and we have to keep looking at this, and this is propaganda. You're going to start seeing it everywhere. Okay, if it's fucking demonizing China right now, it's a very good chance it's coming from the fucking military, okay, of America. All right, it's bullshit. Okay, again, there's grains of truth in every fucking lie. That's how good lies work. Okay, that's how you wouldn't, if it was okay, even outright lies are working now, because if outright lies work with fucking intimidation and manipulation, but generally speaking, the best lies have a grain of truth because people go along with it and it sounds true and they don't look further into it. Okay, but this is the thing. Need to understand it in the way of through the lens of manipulated experiences. Okay, and choice architecture and the internet. So, this is the thing. Now, I'm not sure if the text is going to show very well. Please let me know if it's blurry. I'll link to it in the description. I think I've got a default fucking description in there, but I'll edit it. But you can have a look. But this actually, through GME, this is an old thing. I've seen it before in passing, and there's lots of varying different versions of it. I've got my own that I'm working on, but I just thought I'd show you this because it is actually very interesting. Which is this, okay? A gentle person's guide to forum spies, because we all know that no one listens to Taya. It needs to have a dick attached to it. But anyway, but this is interesting because this is from 2012 and it talks about the techniques for control and manipulation of an internet forum, okay? No matter what or who is on it. So they'll go over each technique and demonstrate that only a minimal number of operatives can be used to eventually and effectively gain control of an uncontrolled forum. Now, I've talked about this in my the cancellation video and some of these things. Like there's a particular behavior pattern. Like when I say this is happening to DOGE, this is the behavior pattern that I see, which is that sort of gradual infiltration and takeover of a community and then dominating it. Okay, so one of the first stages that they do is sort of enter the community and sort of participate for a while, but then they start making statements about the values of the group. I've talked about this before. Anyone making declarations about the values of a community or a group or online group is usually trying to nudge the group in a direction that they want them to. So again, this is what supposed, this is what they all do, but this is what the IRA were accused of doing, but they all do it. Everyone does it. But they just blame Russia. But, which is that basically, you go into a fucking, this happened at peak with BLM and stuff, right? Which is that they enter a community and then they have 2 or 3 fucking sleeper cells in every community that then turn around and start participating and behaving. But then what they'll do is they'll make a declaration about the position of the group without anyone asking them to. And then if anyone objects to it, then they'll drive a wedge. So in politics. It's wedge politics, but there's lots of different ways. That's a diversion or distraction or split. That's how you divide and conquer people, right? So, and then you've got long-standing community members who'll go, no, that's not really your place to say. And then they'll go, well, what are you against this thing? And then they're sort of, they shits on it, divides the community, and assholes clench, and then fucking whatever. So this is why you've got to spot these people early on, okay? And because it's also bots and it's also AI that does this stuff. Because now that it's obviously been done for so long now that you've got machine learning that can handle this with like teenage brains who are fucking more malleable. You could just run a bot. Like Jesus bot is probably having a field day. I haven't heard from them in a while. They're probably having a field day with fucking GME today. But I'm just saying, like, they're sitting there, and I've seen it in the GameStop forum, right, which is a subreddit. And I just keep saying, well, next they're going to do this, and next they're going to do that, next they're going to do this. And they started, someone posted Seaspiracy and started fucking fuckery, okay? And then people caught the bait until I pointed out the bait. And then someone started posting fucking, like, apes and Pepe, hand in hand. It's like, yeah, we know what you're doing. Fucking stop it, It's so obvious what they do. But this is sort of that entryism that I'm talking about. Okay, so technique number 1, forum sliding. So if a very sensitive posting of a critical nature has been posted of a forum, it can be quickly removed from public view by forum sliding. Okay. In this technique, a number of unrelated posts are quietly prepositioned on the forum and allowed to age. Okay. Each of these misdirectional forum postings can then be called upon at will to trigger a forum slide. The second requirement is that several fake accounts exist which can be called upon to ensure that this technique is not exposed to the public. Okay. To trigger a forum slide and flush the critical post out of public view is simply a matter of logging into each account, both real and fake, then replying to pre-positioned postings. There are some typos in this, but it is actually just a nice little fucking teaser. I've got a lot more OP on this. This is like cool stuff. This is fucking my life's work. I just hadn't written it all down. So to trigger a forum slide and flush the critical post out of public view, it is simply a matter of logging into each account, both real and fake, and then replying. So bumping. Okay, so then bumping it, okay, with a simple 1 or 2 line comment. This brings the unrelated post to the top of the forum list, and the critical posting slides down the front page, quickly out of public view. Okay, although it's difficult or impossible to censor the posting, it's now lost in a sea of unrelated and unuseful posting. By this means, it becomes effective to keep the readers of the forum reading unrelated non-issue items. Okay, so consensus cracking. This is what I talked about. So a second highly effective technique, which you can see in operation all the time at abovetopsecret.com, is consensus cracking. So to develop a consensus crack, the following technique is used. Under the guise of a fake account, a posting is made which looks legitimate and is, I'm getting old eyes, I need glasses, which looks legitimate and is towards the truth is made. But the critical point is that it has a very weak premise without substantive proof to back the posting. It's imperative that both sides are initially presented so the uninformed reader cannot determine which side is the truth. As postings and replies, I'm sorry, I can't really see this text very well. I need glasses and this is not responsive. So if I zoom the text, you can't see. So it's really annoying. Sorry, I have to just soldier through. But as postings and replies are made, the stronger evidence or disinformation in your favor is slowly seeded in. Thus, the uninformed reader will most likely develop the same position as you because, again, I've talked about this, like the Solomon Asch's experiments, the conformity experiments, right? This is the psychology of it. And if their position is against you, their opposition to your posting will be most likely dropped. However, in some cases where the forum members are highly educated and can counter your disinformation with real facts and linked postings, you can then abort the consensus cracking by initiating a forum slide, right? These are all just moves. Topic dilution is not only effective in forum sliding, it is also very useful in keeping forum readers on an unrelated and non-productive issues, right? This is a critical and useful technique to cause a resource burn, okay? So people can only have, so much attention, so much energy, like in any given day, okay? So a lot of it, like this is what I'm seeing a lot with the DOGE, which is all the memeing, the repeated memes, the constant memes, the obvious overt, the people's coin. Anyone who refers to the people can't be trusted, okay? That's generally a manipulation, okay? Again, It might be accidental. If you create, okay, this is as much advice for people who create content as or engage in, this will make you engage in better conversation too, because this is why people might not engage with you. Okay, I don't engage with people who use rhetoric like this because I have no reason to believe that someone who uses this is not a bot or trying to manipulate. Okay, I know when I'm being manipulated. Generally speaking, we're not all immune, right? We all have our biases. Again, there's things that I'm fall for, and then again just fucking question yourself all the time because it's so easy to fall for stuff. But I'm saying that we all have a finite amount of time, okay, a finite amount of attention, and these flooding of forums. So by implementing continual and non-related postings that distract and disrupt, right? So one of the examples with DOGE is that Kronos, a big corporation with their using air humidifiers, okay, to mine crypto. But the thing they leave out is the fact that, and also are building a SPAC, right? Which again is, I'm not going to go into what a SPAC is, but basically it's compromising and trying to own Doge and move it over. And I'm seeing them nudge the community towards fucking, centralized ownership from the United States, okay, and from corporate interests, because basically when they can mine it, they can own it. That means they can control the supply, they can control the price, okay. So this is the thing, when I talk about this, it's not an organic community coin when you've got massive corporations who have government contracts for government buildings for air humidifiers can mine the fucking Doge. Okay, that's a conflict of interest that doesn't seem to be declared, but they posted it on the subreddit and then bury it in fucking stupid moon rocket memes, okay? And fucking memes. It's perfect. Again, Elon Musk said, it's genius is its simplicity, okay? It's true, okay? It's genius is its simplicity in many more ways than one, not just in terms of the coin. It doesn't mean he loves the coin. I think that he wanted Wall Street Bets fucking brains to look at it. Thankfully, I am. So, again, I'm not saying you can't fucking make money from it, because obviously the flip side to that, like I said, you don't fist fight the sun. You don't start a fight with the sun. You can't win. You get burned. So sit from the moon. Moon's a bit closer. Makes it a bit easier. That metaphor works pretty well, I think. I'm saying you sit on the moon. It's pretty stable and you probably make some money by going into Doge. Again, not a guarantee. This is a hypothesis. I'm likely to be wrong, okay? Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I talk shit on the internet. Okay. So all I'm saying is I have no proof. All I've done is read what's available, and I know fuckery. And I'm saying I've seen fuckery a few times now, and it seems to me like there's some fuckery going on. Who that's for, that's conjecture, okay? I'm not starting fist fights with the sun. Okay. So by implementing continual and non-related postings that distract and disrupt the forum readers, they are more effectively stopped from anything of real productivity. Okay. This is why Doge fucking went crazy. Okay. With GME, with the squeeze, with GameStop. Okay. And Wall Street Bets. Doge fucking went crazy because they knew that the fucking dumb fucks, the dumb meme fucks, wouldn't go buying GameStop shares because GameStop shares were $100. Doge was fractions of a cent. So it did the GameStop shareholders a bit of a favour because they didn't realise that some of us, not me, but a few, have quite a bit of money to fucking fuck around and fuck up hedge funds. So again, their underestimation, their weak spot is the fact that the contempt for people is their biggest weakness. Because they haven't had any Marxist analysis. Marxism is a nice optimistic view of people, of humanity, and a better way of living. And again, it would just help you see humans differently. So, anyway, in this state, they can be more easily misdirected away from facts towards uninformed conjecture and opinion. Okay? Again, you just got to look at the facts. What I saw as an expert in nudging and UX and user experience was a dev community who were latent and neglectful suddenly become active, okay, in a subreddit that was had a cult following, okay, in a small way, and then somehow in the same week as GameStop took off organically, completely spontaneously. right? And then I saw a bunch of YouTube channels pop up where people were saying that Elon Musk was the fucking whale and Elon Musk was fucking doing super chats and a load of bullshit. Okay. All emotional manipulation, all nudging. They never said that it was Elon Musk. They just let you do the rest of the work. That's nudging. Okay. Nudging is when you've got also has plausible deniability built into it, which is that, you know, one could accuse me of nudging you into buying GameStop, which I'm not trying to do, but I'm saying it just works that way. Okay. That's what you just got to be aware of that. Okay. I have no agenda there. Please don't. If you can't afford shares, then don't. Okay. If you don't like high volatility, don't. If you don't like high risk, don't. Okay. Stock market is a casino right now. No matter what, there's no such thing as safe fucking shares right now. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Don't fucking get advice from me. Get advice from someone who understands the GameStop issue though, because there's a lot of people pushing fundamentals that I fucking have it. Yeah. Anyway, side point. So if the intensity of gradual dilution is intense enough, the readers will effectively stop researching and simply slip into gossip mode. Now, this is what they did with Tumblr. Okay. This is how you fuck it. This is teenagers and mother forums are actually a really good example of that. Okay, because Mumsnet, okay, let's look at Mumsnet. That's actually probably a separate thing. But Mumsnet as a fucking class, they could easily be considered a potential threat to the sort of message that certain forces want, okay? So what they will do is keep women bickering about fucking pram brands and diaper warmers and attachment versus fucking not attachment parenting, natural parenting versus not fucking natural parenting, then because women, it always gets personal, right? Because again, it's just women's social dynamics. You think these people don't fucking know our psychology and like the data and don't have fucking behavioral psychologists on this 24/7? That they know that women fucking feel put out by men in dresses? Yeah. But they also fucking get pissed off with other women over dumb shit. Again, we also know that about the left because we're a little more emotional, because we're more fucking empathetic, generally speaking, okay? When I say the left, I mean sort of traditionally the left wing of politics, okay? That's a broad church. I'm not fucking using those. It's not a tribe, okay? Not a monolith. I'm saying traditionally, on average, according to political scientists and political psychologists, okay, or socio-political psychologists, okay, the fucking personality profile for the left is largely more in openness and fucking, you know, neuroticism and like therefore sort of slightly more fucking open to being fucking catty and bitchy. Okay? So that's the thing. Okay, so you think that Mumsnet is an accident? Fucking no! Okay, Mumsnet is by design getting women bitching over fucking pram brands. Makes no fucking sense. Apes don't fight other apes. We should have known this early. If women united as a class, okay, on Mumsnet, oh, look what happened. They did. And look what happened. Okay. I'm just saying, it fits in. So, now, again, when we talk forum, don't take it literally. Think about anything. Think about any online community. This could be anything. This could be a fucking Facebook group, anything. Okay. So this is obviously from 2012, so things were a bit different. You know, a lot of this old stuff from Usenet about how to spot a fucking psyops in fucking Usenet is actually quite useful. I'll also go through, I'll go through Flame Warriors, maybe today or some point, because I fucking love that. It's old school. I actually talked to the artist about updating it into a social media version and turning it into a book because it's a fantastic it was beautiful. Bunch of internet archetypes, but I'll do that in a minute. So then you've got information. So you've got, in the gossip mode state, right? So here, they can be more easily misdirected away from facts towards uninformed conjecture and opinion. The less informed they are, the more effective and easy it becomes to control the entire group in the direction that you would desire the group to go in. Now, this is obviously what has happened on Tumblr feminists. Okay, so you could profile just by signing up to Tumblr. Okay, just simply through the threshold of signing up to Tumblr. Okay, the user profile of someone on Tumblr is, first of all, someone who's not tech savvy generally. Okay, like if you can, like most people who are sort of tech savvy or understand the like sort of basic sort of code and that sort of stuff, they would have set up WordPress. Okay. Also, you can tolerate fucking porn. Okay. Also, the user profile on people who would use, say, again, you got to go back to the tech. So the reason why a lot of people flucked, I even swear in my fucking normal words. No, but even like the profile, like generally, okay, would have been that like Blogger, you had Tumblr, and you had WordPress. Blogger didn't introduce comments until early, okay, until sort of later on in the game. WordPress had comments, but there was a sort of, you had to host it and have your own hosting. Tumblr filled a gap sort of between Twitter. So my threads were too long. My tweets, I had too many tweets and there was not enough space. Okay. But it wasn't a full blog, but it also had the reblog tweet feature. So there's a whole psychological user profile that's unique to Tumblr that doesn't exist on WordPress, or what it didn't at the time, and didn't exist on Blogger. Okay. So that's the thing, is that you just already by design, again, on average, generalization, some people just, wanted to set something up. But again, there's a whole bunch of things like that micro behavior, like little behaviors and little preferences that you can read a lot from someone's choice of software. You can read a lot, like for me, I use Mac because I fucking hate tinkering with tech. I can, but I get frustrated and annoyed, so I use a Mac, okay, because it just works out of the box. Yes, you give up some stuff, but it's just better, okay? Some people get a Mac for status or whatever, and others, again, it just depends. There's a psychological profile. The reason why the Mac versus PC advertising campaign was so effective was because it got those fucking personas right, okay? But it's the same thing with internet, like technology. So on Tumblr, you can extrapolate that people are not as savvy as elsewhere. Okay, because they're not on Usenet, they're not hanging out sort of, they're verbose, okay, because otherwise people would just use Twitter at the time, okay. Medium wasn't there. LinkedIn didn't have articles, okay. The real only choice. So again, there's all these profiles that you can, again, there's a user profile with Tumblr, okay, that attracts a certain type of person. So that's why most of the fucking edgelords and old tech dudes and whatever hang out on Reddit and 4chan and Usenet and fucking still hang out in the old things, because that's what they fucking like. Okay, it's just their preference, and they don't like being mainstream. Whereas Tumblr is more like the sort of top 40, the top 40 girls. Okay, are on Tumblr. That's sort of would be a psych profile. I would imagine that they're easily nudgeable, easily persuadable, and this is what happens. You build fandoms on it, and look what happens. Okay, they end up fucking distracted on bullshit and talking about things that they don't know anything about, using deconstructionism without that actual foundational Marxist, postmodernist, that those building blocks before you get to deconstruction that are very important for your mental health, because otherwise you then start fucking not knowing what's true and isn't true, and philosophy can break your fucking head if you don't learn it in a specific fucking order and way. You need the foundations. You need modernism before you fucking get onto postmodernism, and before you get into batshit woke shit, you need that foundation in the other stuff. And they gave them no floor. There's no floor, no foundations. Okay. So this is what happened. You write that with that topic dilution, they end up distracted and they can't. So then, because you don't want them American kids, college kids going online and actually hanging out with real Marxists, or finding Anonymous, or finding the fucking dark web, or finding, the places where actual discourse is happening. What you do is you give them a pseudo-intellectual way that's filled with confirmation bias and filled with fucking, worldview affirming stuff, but also weaponizing it and making it so that it becomes an echo chamber, and also so that, that's milieu control. Again, controlling narrowing the conversation that can occur within a bubble, and so people just get fucking drunk on confirmation bias, and then they go to fucking university where they fund the universities and all that stuff. It's where it all fits in. So information collection is also a very effective method to determine the psychological level of the forum members, see, and to gather intelligence that can be used against them. In this technique, in a light and positive environment, a show you mine, so me yours posting is initiated. See what I mean with Tumblr, right? This is why this was inevitable. It was why it was inevitable, right? And mother forums, because they all want to share their baby and they want to talk about motherhood because it's fucking, one of the most amazing and like nobody gives a fuck except your internet friends experiences and not like you'll ever have in your life. And then you go on there and all you want to do is talk about your, I once registered a name called nobodycaresaboutyourbaby.com. Because that's what Mumsnet is an escape, because you're obsessed with that thing and no one else is. Okay, no one cares about your baby. And I did the same thing. I was obsessed with my fucking kids. Okay, I love them to pieces, but I don't talk about them. But that was, again, a human weakness that we want to show off our kids. But that is also that they gather information. You've seen Jesus Bot. Okay, you show a little bit of vulnerability and it's fucking programmed into some sort of AI database and used against me. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're fucking doing, you fucking data harvesting mole. Fuck off. Okay, so, where are we? So from the number of replies and the answers that are provided, much statistical information can be gathered. An example is to post your favorite weapon. Hang on. Yep. And then encourage other members of the forum to showcase what they have. In this matter, it can be determined by reverse proration what percentage of the forum community owns a firearm and or an illegal weapon. Because those that are showing off their firearms, there's going to be a percentage of those that don't. So it targets, again, this is how this is used, right? So the same method can be used by posing as one of the forum members and posting your favorite technique of operation, okay, to find your sore spots. Okay, this is why Wall Street Bets were easily fucking like infiltrated and GameStop and that, because people are showing their fucking like positions, what they're buying and selling and what their fucking sale number is and what their floor is. The reason why they say there's a $10 million, trillion floor is not because they believe that the shares are going for $10 million. It's because they know that you don't show that. Okay, you don't put your options, you don't put your sell limits, you don't do it because they look at all our data and they know how to fuck you. Okay, and it's the same thing. Everything that you put online is used in a big database as a fucking burn book. Okay, that's the thing. Everyone you swiped right on and fucking, sent a dick pic to or whatever, it's all just there. It's all there, ready to be used if you become inconvenient. That's why I laugh and I go, you don't pick a fight with the sun. Okay, I'm going to keep using that phrase. I'm fucking tripling down on that joke because it's hilarious. Because it's just the image of someone trying to punch the sun is the funniest thing in the world to me. But that's what power is. That's the kind of power we're dealing with. You don't do that. That's stupid. Okay, but what you do is you just say, hey, the sun's there. Why don't you have a look at it? Why don't you study it? Why don't you look at the rainbow that's generated by it? There's a metaphor. Okay. Look at what these techniques are. Okay, this is the thing. And then once you start to see these things, you see them everywhere. And when I talk about the magic eye painting, this is what I'm referring to. And that's the gap that I think people, again, I was just so busy getting used to YouTube and so busy just sort of fucking confused. Because it's like that wouldn't happen on the internet because the internet is the free place. But it was, again, we were just I was nudged into this career and sort of lost my way because you get gaslit along the way. You're like, oh yeah, we're Silicon Valley, HBO, fucking download it, acquire it, watch it by any means necessary. All these tech companies, that is just literally the fucking journey that tech people go through, is that you create a product and they tell everyone, it's like a cult, we're going to make the world a better place. And then they fuck you. And then they keep pretending that they're like good guys. And it's like, yeah, that's really interesting. It's also it's just one of the funniest shows, especially if you're in tech. It's one of the funniest shows to ever exist. Okay. The fact that America would even satirize that is amazing. Okay. So that's why I still have some hope. Okay. Because Silicon Valley is actually more like a documentary about Silicon Valley than anything Silicon Valley will tell you about it. Okay, I think that's maybe all the best comedy, all the funniest comedy has truth in it, and it's only those who work it. It's like a kind of like an in-joke. It's just Unless you work in it and have experienced all those things, you just think that it's just exaggerated, but it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. Okay, so information, it's that burn book. In this matter, it can be determined by reverse operation what the percentage are. The same method can be used by posing as one of the forum members and posting your favorite technique of operation. From the replies, various methods that the group utilizes can be studied and effective methods developed to stop them from their activities. And that's what we're seeing with GameStop at the moment in the subreddits. Watch it with my eyes, which is that I'm seeing it, which is that they're basically seeing the weak spots. The weak spots is that it's always people's politics, always. Seaspiracy, like, oh, we should invest in did you watch Seaspiracy? We should invest in plant-based fucking whatever next. And it's like, no, fuck up! And then someone's like, nope, nope, don't have it diamond hands. Okay, this is the shit. And then you'll see, but they're also seeing our weak spots. They're also seeing it when people are I don't post. Okay, so what they do is also even just the due diligence post, which is great for educational content, but they bury the good stuff and promote the bad stuff. They promote the bad takes. Okay, so they'll put fucking bot armies and farms and all that sort of stuff to promote and bury good stuff. Okay, they use these things. Oh, you think they don't do this at scale when there's money at stake? Okay, anger trolling. So statistically, there's always a percentage of forum posters who are more inclined to violence. So in order to determine who these individuals are, it's a requirement to present an image to the forum to deliberately incite a strong psychological reaction. Okay. And that's what they're doing with the Pepe frog and transphobia and those things, because those are things that through a multifaceted and multi-pronged approach with propaganda over a decade or two, okay, these guys are a problem. We need to find their fucking weak spot, okay? And the trans thing will definitely 100% implode every fucking community. Because it's a collision of Tumblr and 4chan that's been fucking engineered and groomed for fucking years to make sure that there's an enemy and a fucking, there's a good guy. It's basically a fucking Marvel movie at this point, okay? But unfortunately, there are no sort of black and white heroes and villains, okay? And it's a lot more complicated than that. And yeah, so apes don't fight other apes. Okay. So these things are being used to divide everybody, okay? Or like a hit piece. So again, it works in so many different directions, okay? So you've got Motley Fool saying ignore this, and again, they're using that authoritative source, okay? And then gaining full control. So it's important to also be harvesting and continually maneuvering for a forum mod position. Now, this is what they've been doing with Wall Street Bets and GameStop and those sorts of things, and DOGE. I imagine the DOGE devs probably taken on a forum, probably taken on somebody who's dodgy, okay? And then they just kick out all of the fucking old people out. So once this position is obtained, the forum can then be effectively and quietly controlled by deleting unfavorable postings. One can even eventually steer the forum into complete failure and lack of interest by the general public. Okay, so most people just go, fuck it. This is what I talked about with a couple of the fan communities during BLM that I saw happening, which was that entryist stuff, where someone will show up and they'll start doing the BLM thing, especially with Gen X people who are a bit kind of more skeptical about it, and they'll start some shit, okay? And then arseholes will clench up because they know what's coming, and then they'll put a chill over the community. People either then leave the community or fight, and then it just is a spiral. Okay, and then the person who is in control of that community, let's say in a fandom it would be an artist or whatever, that artist will then get fucking cast with whatever label and cancelled if they're fucking defending anything against it. Okay, that's what this does. Now, the reason why I know that certain people get cancelled and certain people don't is because certain people behave themselves. Okay, and toe the line with the man. Okay, that's why they know where their bread's buttered. All right. So anyway, but I just thought that this was, so remember that these techniques are only effective if forum participants don't know about them, okay? And this is my job, is to make sure that you know about them. So once they're aware of these techniques, the operation can completely fail and the forum can become uncontrolled. And that's what I'm doing in GameStop, which is when I see it, I say what it is. So people who are going, oh, that's why. So I told you yesterday about over the weekend, Okay, like they realized that the employees were at Citadel working all of the weekend and people sort of sent their drones and stuff. And inevitably there were 10 posts going, "This is not what we are. This is not what we are. Behave yourselves." And I went, "Oh yeah, you can spot that." So I just on every single one went, "Okay, that's a nice fucking thing. It looks like you're trying to go, you know, you're making declarations of we that make a statement on behalf of the group of 200,000 people. Nah, not falling. Don't fall for it, people." And that's what I just keep doing, okay? And that seems to be something where once people see it, and that's what's interesting about GameStop, that because there's a big payoff potentially in it, people are more incentivized to stick around and learn, okay? Whereas before, when it's political or, you know, again, one of the reasons why people, you know, is that there's a payoff. One of the reasons why people even fall for this stuff or go along with the crowd, again, I talked about Ash's conformity experiment. One of the big controls is how high the stakes are, okay? When there's high stakes or a big payoff, people are much more incentivized to say nothing and go along with the crowd. And that's what we're seeing with this whole fucking trans thing. It's obvious, okay? It's like, well, some people just aren't. That's why we're seeing women who weren't fucking feminists. And they were saying, "I'm not really a feminist. I'm more of a humanist." And we were being told to lean in and all that shit, okay? Because they weren't that invested in feminism in the first place. They put on a feminism suit because it fucking paid off. Because it became fucking popular, okay? They're the fly-by-nights. Now, DOGE. It's obvious propaganda, okay? I'm going to show you, actually, what I think. Let's have a look. If Safari wants to not be a shithead. Okay, I posted this, right? I always bury the fucking serious shit way in the stream. This is a fist fight with the sun. Seriously. Okay, so DOGE. Look at this. Decentralized online global economy. DOGE. Powered by, what did I say? Powered by the people. Propaganda 101. Rule the world. Right? Dogecoin dev and Dogecoin community. Now, this last week, a lot of people have made money on Doge, including me. Okay, I've seen my shit go up. Okay, great. But like I've said before, it's not the anarchist fucking symbol that you think it is. Okay. Because I talked about the air humidifiers, but also no one sees anything fishy about the fact that Free Wallet was down, Robinhood was down, Coinbase don't let you trade or exchange Doge, okay? And the price went up. How? Who was buying it? Where? Okay? We couldn't access it. We couldn't trade it. Then there was an outage, okay, of Doge. Then all of a sudden, the Doge devs are saying, capacity problems, okay? I think that we're going to have to move so that Doge supports smart contracts. Again, the NFT fucking, buzz stuff, which is, again, good, but you got to be savvy about it. Don't just take everything at face value, okay? And I'm sitting there going, well, that looks like a bit of a nudge to me. It looks like a nudge, which is, what a coincidence. Again, coincidences can happen. Maybe it's a coincidence. I'm just saying that based on everything that I know, that there are moves to fucking centralize what people think is a decentralized organic movement for a coin, okay? Don't see this as anything other than speculative fucking, like any other coin or any other fucking, don't get emotionally attached, because this is the problem, okay? One thing we know about the psychology of money is that, again, people fucking are different when they're hot and cold, and Doge is a sleeper, psychologically speaking, because people are emotionally attached to their coin. Now, that can be a fucking good thing, but it's also a blind spot when you're emotionally attached to your money. Because everybody in fucking capitalism land and free market land, where the market is free, yeah, I can't wink. Market's free, even though fucking all of the hedge funds and banks are fucking being audited for fucking money laundering and crypto right now, which is why Bitcoin dropped 20%. Okay. Free market. merit. Just work harder. Just try a bit harder. You'll be fine. Okay. Make sure you live a good life and be ethical and do the right thing. You'll be rewarded for fucking ethics. So long as that fucking choice architecture narrowly defines what those ethics are, and they're not ethical at all, then you're fine. Such as using propaganda and fucking memes and putting people's guard down in order to build demand and drive a popular coin that's probably looking to be controlled by fucking the United States. Okay? And or China, whoever the fuck wins. Okay? Don't be naive. It's not organic. Make some money off it though. Because, again, it's got backing. And I can see their intentions. Oh no, the outage means that we're over capacity, which means we have to go onto a fucking different platform that supports that. Oh, what platform would that be? You mean the one that's part of the fucking, like, evil, the bad guys? That one? Where they're trying to centralize and fucking own the blockchain? Get fucked. The profit from it. It's great. It means great. Very ethical. It's much ethical. Very anarchy. And don't trust anyone who's pushing this shit. Beyond it being, even me. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone in crypto because this will get you into crypto and this will get you into the casino that is crypto. Okay, so if you sign up to CoinSpot and shit, okay, fucking learn about crypto and don't get burned. Don't throw your money. Don't think you've figured it out because there's a lot of fuckery and a lot of like bullshit. Okay, if you don't know about the stock market, don't go into crypto because crypto is the Wild West and you're going to lose a lot of money very fast. Okay, as I have done. As I say, I tend to buy high, sell low. It's my life philosophy. I buy high, sell low because I trust people. Okay, but I'm just saying, you probably, in this case, I would say this is a pretty safe bet because I know how power works. I know that power doesn't want this coin to drop unless they want us to panic. Then once they own it and they want us to panic, then they'll definitely fucking conveniently keep people in line with drops. Okay, so be prepared for that. You need to work on your diamond hands just to survive in the future, I think. Get used to fucking that emotional shit that you've got with money if you're going to do anything in stock market stuff. So anyway, that's a side point. But I'm just saying, okay, I can see the nudge already, which is that flood it with memes, which is what they've done, okay, and bury information. So, all of this stuff around Kronos and dogepack.com. Look at that, Doge SPAC, sorry, DOGESPAC.com. And that's sort of the smoking gun. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, bunch of other press releases, flooding with press releases that don't seem connected unless you know sort of the tech. Again, they're relying on people's confirmation biases that Dogecoin is organic and going to the moon and Elon Musk is going to save us all. Fuck. Elon Musk wanted us to look into it. Either that or he's in on it. Okay. I would like to think my confirmation bias says that Elon Musk wanted Wall Street Bets crew to look into Doge because we would find some shit. And they didn't. Okay. I did. And a few others, but I'm just saying, okay. Don't fucking believe it because I'm seeing now the Dogecoin devs starting to push a narrative, okay? And they're all pushing this thing that's like, making, again, Billy Marcus coming in, even if he's the founder of Doge, okay? Let's not be fucking naive, okay? He abandoned the coin. Again, I'm not making any claims. I'm just saying what it looks like to me and I'm likely wrong, okay? There's no claim here. I'm just saying that just don't take everything that people say at face value. Okay, he's the founder of Doge. Okay, he works at IBM as an engineer. The other founder of Doge works at Adobe. Okay, fucking hedges. Okay, or shills, whatever. But anyway, they got this sleeper coin. But the reason why the Dogecoin community would have fucking smelt, because they're in crypto. Okay, so crypto is highly sus anyway. Everyone's got a fucking stronger nose for fuckery because it's just the Wild West. So people are always doing pump and dumps and fucking scams and all that stuff. So people's like sense for a scam is higher. But if you get the actual founder of Doge to turn around and make a statement of values on behalf of the community that you haven't been part of for years. Okay. Just saying. I'm just saying that, like, again, I'm not making claims. I'm just saying that it's like not an unreasonable thing that a critical thinking person to say, that can say, which is that it's the same behavior. And again, it might just be unwitting. It might just be, whatever. But I'm just saying that it's the same tactic. It's the same nudge. Going in, making a statement on behalf of 1 million people about what it's like. I thought that DOGE was largely fucking scammers and pump and dump up until recently, but now someone's going in and starting making values claims on behalf of the community, even if they're the founder, and claim to have no stake. I'm imagining that that's technically true, that he holds no DOGE. Okay, I'm saying it's technically true. And again, I'm not saying, I'm disclaimer, I'm not making claims. I'm saying that this is what you have to do. I want to believe that this is fucking organic. I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. I want to believe in the idealism of the coin. But the fact that I want to believe it is the problem, because it gives me the blind spot. This is exactly what happened to feminism with intersectionality and inclusion. That was the fucking DOGE sleeping giant and the sleeping fucking thing that compromised and left a bunch of feminists with a blind spot. Because we didn't know, we went thinking, and we just assumed that when we said inclusion, we knew what it meant, which was that, race does intersect with sex and class, right? And Americans are fuckheads. Again, that's assumed knowledge for anyone outside of America. If you're American, I'm sorry that I have to inform you, but you're fuckheads. And you got scrambled eggs for brains. And you're fucking going to take us all down with you because of your fucking confidence. Confident bullshit makes everyone think that it's more factual than quiet fucking informed knowledge. I like to think that I'm loud knowledge and I'm just fucking annoying. I'm a sitting duck. But at least the handful of people that show up to these streams will start to see it and hopefully spread the word that I was right. And I think that maybe, let's just watch DOGE. Let's just see it. Let's just watch and see. I'm not saying do anything. There's no call to action here. I'm saying with a high degree of confidence that I think this is a stable fucking floor for the coin. That's all I'm going to say. Unless somewhere along the line they want to incite some fear in a bunch of people. Okay? Or manufacture some sort of threat, because the large portion of DOGE owners are whale wallets, which own, between them own fucking, 50% of all of the DOGE, okay? And with those fucking air humidifiers, Kronos are going to be a massive fucking corporation, are going to be owning a lot of DOGE very soon, okay? They're mining it, okay? So I'm just saying it's not, the way crypto works is that you need to be suspicious of whales and their power, okay? But yes, and this is valid. This is actually the valid part. I do believe in the coin. I do, in terms of its potential. If I'm wrong about this, okay? And if there is a fucking universal currency that's for the internet, then great. If it's for the United States, fuck no, because that's got the Patriot Act attached to it. They want to fucking see all of our transactions. I don't even like the main government, like the Australian government, seeing my fucking bank balance, let alone fucking America. Get fucked. You don't think I wouldn't be Assanged in a second if I fucking had a subscription to Substack? Right? That's where it's heading. Oh, you fucking gave this person Reddit coin, or you gave this person DOGE that we don't approve of. Oh gosh, how dare you support Jimmy Dore using crypto and paying them in DOGE? You're a fucking security threat. You're a terrorist. This is not an implausible scenario. Okay, people need to start thinking about these things. It's not fucking hard. It's not radicalization to have a healthy mistrust of power. That's fucking common sense. That's sensible. And anyone who says it's not sensible to be skeptical of fucking power is power and wants something from you. Okay, be skeptical of everything. And I'm not saying that to make you doubt everything, because some things are actually true. There's evidence, scientific evidence, aside from, publication bias and all those other things that we've talked about with fuckery. Science is the closest thing to true, and just exercise your trust muscles when it comes to content. If you are feeling emotionally aroused, okay, think about it, sit in it, don't just believe it. Go away, read this thing, then read something else, then read another thing, okay? Read Nudge by, what's his name? Richard, what's his name? Whatever. It's linked in the fucking description. There's an affiliate. See, full transparency. There's an affiliate link. If you buy the book, I make 2 cents. It's a good system. Author probably makes about the same. But Amazon gets paid, so that's the main thing. Or pirate the book if you want. Do what I do. Read it, and if I like it, then I buy a hard copy. I was like, yeah. It's like, that's what I do. I was like, I'm not going to be fucking, no, fuck that. Anyway, so I've streamed too long, but I'm going to go. I hope this was of fucking interest, and I hope that you like the direction. I can speak about this with conviction because it's what it's what I know. It's what I've done my whole career, is just change hearts and minds and nudge people. Okay. I'm just bringing it to the surface because I don't necessarily think that people know that they're being nudged. I just assumed that it was a given. But I think that we need to get back to basics, back to basic fucking critical literacy and critical reading and criticizing everything and spotting that everyone has an agenda. My call to action is subscribe and like and all that shit. And if you value it, then maybe you'll help me, okay? Because I like picking fist fights with the sun. And, it's expensive work. Okay, both emotionally and fucking literally. But I'm not asking you for anything other than just to sort of look into stuff, and if I can just nudge you in the right direction. Again, I'm not a big fan of nudging anyone at all, but we're social beings. We're going to do that. But I would hope that you trust my opinion and my views, and that I have some fucking status, and that maybe you might listen to what I've got to say and be critical about the interests that are at play right now. And also look at the markets, look at the fucking incentives to try and profit in crypto when you're fucking, shorting everything in the stock market and you're looking for a parachute. Okay. You don't think that the fucking owners of all these hedge funds don't have like a plan to fuck off and leave America burning? Oh God, that AI is going to pick that shit up and fucking mark me as a terrorist. I mentioned 9/11 and America burning. I'm fucked. This was said ironically, YouTube. But I'm just saying, right, that you don't think that they don't have a fucking house that they can just get in a helicopter or a private jet and fuck off and leave everyone suffering? Of course they do. Again, I'm going to point out that the former head of risk at Lehman Brothers, okay, who caused the collapse of the global economy, is the current CEO of OnlyFans. I just want to point that out. Okay, so anyway, pay attention. It's okay. And also, one thing, there was a whole bunch of stuff on that. I just thought that I was only going to focus on one list, but there's a few others. But the other thing that is a common tactic is writing everyone off as a conspiracy theorist and pointing in the other direction to what you're doing to avoid fucking detection. Does that not sound familiar? Okay. People can, you're allowed to ask questions without it being a fucking conspiracy, for fuck's sake. Honestly, I would have a healthy disregard for anybody who writes off anything or any question that has a complicated answer with things like you're a conspiracy theorist. That means they want you to stop thinking and stop asking questions. Okay? That's the code for you're a conspiracy theorist. That means, again, not obviously if you've gone off the deep end. It's like for me, it's like when everyone's like, China, it's like, you've been reading way too much Murdoch Press, man. Seriously. Seriously, too much. And you're just falling for American propaganda. But also, I could be falling for Chinese propaganda and falling for fucking North Korean propaganda, falling for Australian propaganda, right? But I know that. I exercise my muscles, okay? And even I fall for it from time to time, as you'll see with my videos, okay? I've fallen for shit, okay? But generally speaking, if anyone is commanding control of your ideas and thoughts and questions and words, they are not to be trusted, okay? That's liberty. And it's not Marxism that does that, because Marx believes in that freedom as well, or believed. Don't know what he believes now. Who the fucking ghost? I don't know. But if I could speak on behalf of Marx, I'm sure he'd be happy with it, which is that, people being free to speak is like a tenet of fucking freedom. And it's absolutely one of the reasons why socialism is a way to achieve liberty, not fucking a way to suppress it. Okay? And anyone who tells you otherwise is a fucking idiot or an above average intelligent American. There's an American IQ scale and a fucking scale for everyone else. The American quotient, someone being a genius, like Elon Musk is a smart man, but I wouldn't argue that he's necessarily a genius. I'd say he's smart for an American. And he's from South Africa, so I think that mostly came from Africa. But his version of event, like libertarianism, is still very much embedded in American fucking mindset. So he's obviously not that clever because he falls for some bullshit too. Right? He also, or he just uses it to troll and he knows his power. Again, who knows? I don't speculate about the inner worlds of people I don't know. I think maybe that's another good thing to do, is not to fucking read people's minds and speculate what people are thinking or feeling at any given moment. We can assess things based on behavior and models and theory and what's likely to happen and stats, but that's not a personal fucking thing, okay? Doesn't mean that there's not room, okay? But anyway, I'm going to go. Think critically. Stop picking fights with the sun. You get banned. But join me on the moon. Okay? I just used a persuasive technique. Did you see what I did there? I'm just saying, okay. You're not going to get anywhere confronting power directly, okay? That's all I'm saying. You're just going to get bit. You just try to inch away at it and try to just keep your integrity in check. And when it really matters, fight. Okay, obviously women's rights is one of those big frontiers, but fight where it fucking matters. Arguing with dumb fucks and shills and bots on Twitter with the odds against you, okay, that's stupidity. Okay, that's the definition of fucking, you just got no shot of changing hearts and minds on that place. Okay, you may change the occasional thing, but you're better off starting your own YouTube channel and just fucking rambling about it and then, whatever. Be yourself. Do what you want to do. I want to, the thing is, it's easy for me to just go fucking, no, again, nothing against Kelly, but she's just, it's like, the takes are just wrong and bad and shit's complicated. Okay. And, anyone making abs, but there's money in that stuff. Lots of merch in fucking absolute statements. Although maybe I should actually monetize. I've got merch that says don't be a fuckwit. I think that's a good one. But again, everyone's fucking offended by swearing, so get fucked. But I'm just saying, okay. Jesus, there's money to be made in everything. And I think you should trust the people that make no fucking money. Nothing against Judith, I know who donates, and people who fucking donate. Nothing against patrons or anything. I'm just saying, generally speaking, I make, let's just say, substantially less than Joe Rogan. Somewhere between zero and Joe Rogan. And Jimmy Dore and Tim Pool and fucking all those, and all those people. Tim Dillon, did you know Tim Dillon makes like fucking $1.5 million a month on Patreon? Fuck me. I don't make anywhere near that. Good on him. Because he actually, fucking hell, speaking of Tim Dillon, watch his most recent podcast. He's smart too because he buries his fucking funniest, most awful double down shit deep into his podcast too. He's smart like me. But he did this song about Afghanistan. Fucking funny. With visuals and shit. Oh my God. He gives me more confidence to be myself because he is someone that is just... he just riffs and is just wrong, but he's not afraid to just go, but he has the money to do that. I don't, but he's not afraid to just go there and sing badly and just fucking let it all hang out. And there's something beautiful about that. And I really would like to be that for you more. Okay. I mean, I've got to be somewhat palatable to look at, but at the same time, I mostly just want to be myself and be free to do that and have you along for the ride, trusting me that I would not fucking let you down. And that's the main thing. So if you want to join my Discord, there you go, there's a nudge. Fucking nudging like a boss. Join my Discord. Tealou.xyz. You'll have to go through the rules, hit the green checkbox if you're new to Discord. Then you can chat in the general chat area and choose your topics. So go into general chat, go to choose topics, okay? Choose which topics you're interested in, because that allows feminists to have a safe space. I've got lots of rules and stuff, and those channels will open up, and then you can chat to people and say hi. It's a bit dead at the moment, but that's mostly because I've been away, and people are just busy, and I think people just have like message fatigue and tech fatigue, and I would never ever expect anyone to be addicted to any fucking thing that I'm producing. You want to read? If you don't. In your own time, at your own pace, no urgency. But the one thing that I do like is people sharing my stuff, or at least if you're sharing it or doing something, if there's one thing that you could do to help me, it is to maybe do chapter markers and timestamps and those sorts of things in YouTube comments, so that then people actually can see that there's meat on the bones, and that my bumbling for fucking half an hour at the beginning and end, there is actually some substance once I get going. That's another thing I like about Tim Dillon, is that it often, once you watch Tim Dillon, you kind of got to go along, because it takes him a while to start to get going, but then it's funny as fuck. Okay. So I'm not making predictions about Doge crashing tomorrow. Don't set anything. Please don't give financial advice on my fucking channel, Yosef. I've said this before. Okay. We're not in a position to know that. I don't think that's true. And I think that we'll wait and see. Don't invest in anything that you're not willing to completely lose. Okay. It's a casino. Crypto's a casino, unless it's Bitcoin. And even then you saw that drop by 20%, but it's full of scammers. Okay. Now I think Doge is actually one of the more stable cryptos right now, based on what I know. Okay. Again, I'm not revealing all my shit, because yet again, I said, don't pick fucking fist fights with the sun. There's no point, but I know shit. Okay. I know what's going on, and I have a pretty high degree of confidence that Doge is at least at a 35, in Australian, I don't know I think there's a 30% floor on Doge, if not higher than that, like moving forward. Okay. So again, take what I say with a grain of salt or not, but I think saying Doge will crash, that's just, again, you're just seeing confirmation bias. Okay. Yeah. Bitcoin, fucking good on you, Joseph. Please don't talk about Bitcoin versus Doge on here. I've just spent an hour explaining my position. You can believe what you want. If you've got an opinion and want to make predictions on crypto, then you're most welcome to create your own Bitcoin versus Doge YouTube channel and talk about it yourself. But please don't give people fucking financial advice on my channel, because I have a responsibility to my viewers to not be spreading misinformation in an area that is and FUD, okay, and bullshit, or opinion based on no fucking evidence, that just basic opinion that will sow doubt in people's minds. I'm saying you have a responsibility to not spread bullshit, okay? You want people to, whatever, okay? You can start your own shit, but please don't give people financial advice, or I'll do what GameStop do and GME and write you off as a fucking shill and block you. Okay? Please stop waving your dick around on my channel, Joseph. You've been warned several times, and I'm changing direction, and I'm quite happy to flex at this point. Okay. Thank you, because, I only listen to people who pay me, first off. Second of all, I'm focused on the truth and being trustworthy and putting financial advice, and people with dicks flexing on my channel I'm now zero tolerance. Okay. So I know you're not new, but I'm just giving you another warning. Okay. That I'm not tolerating that shit anymore. Okay. So I love you. Thank you for your precious life seconds. And I will see you probably tomorrow, because I'm doing more of this stuff. Okay. Bye.